It's going to be fun, man. I cannot wait to watch you guys play.
Coming to you from the My Michigan TV studios.
We're going to kick you in the teeth.
It's the Roar Live.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
With hosts, Michigan High School Hall of Fame head coach, Tony Blankenship.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
The Outsider, Scotty William, and Corey Tiez.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Roar Live, your official pre- and post-game show for all the Detroit Lion home and away games all season long, right here on My Michigan TV. And we're so glad you decided to come along with us tonight. It's late, but hey, it is what it is, right, guys?
Yeah,
we got to make it work.
Yeah.
I'm Scotty William, alongside Michigan High School Hall of Fame head coach Tony Blankenship, and the man who we affectionately call the antagonist of this band of brothers, Corey Tiez. And we also want to invite you to join us live on the show via the Zoom link located below on your TV screen. Guys, preseason week 1 is now in the books, and the Detroit Lions have lost to the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium by pretty much of a lackluster game. Yeah. But the big question is, Tony, were we really going to see anything prolific, with this game?
No. It's the preseason. We have to understand that. And the biggest thing is you're looking for progress with the young guys that they've drafted and they brought into camp, and trying to see, where those guys are and what they're able to do right now, and try to get out of there healthy. Right. That's the most important thing. It's important, for your quarterback play, backups to show you something. You're looking for that. And you're looking, again, for your young guys who are in camp to show you some progress and see how well they can do right now at the NFL level. It's big time now. It's not college football anymore.
Okay. Preseason-wise, Tony, do you feel like it's more of they're trying to see what they have depth-wise? Because they kind of know what they're going to go with starting quarterback-wise, starting running backs. I know we talked previously, before we started the show, that a lot of the plays that you're seeing them run, probably you're not going to see too many of those during the regular season.
Absolutely right. Everything is pretty much vanilla. It's basic, and they're trying to see how guys can play, with their pad levels low, and kind of just being able to do the basic things that they've been taught to do since they've been in camp for the short period of time they've been there. They're not overly concerned right now. People shouldn't be concerned about the score or anything like that. It's an exhibition game, and you got a lot of young guys who are out there trying to figure it all out. You also have to take into account that they pretty much have an idea of their 1 and 2 guys in the depth chart. These guys are trying to make the team, and because of that, they're going to get a lot of minutes and have an opportunity to go out there and see what they can do to be efficient to make the 53-man squad, and if not that, then get on the practice squad. So I think that's what you saw today. Okay. A lot of those players.
Well, let me ask you something, guys, and I'll pose this question to both of you. Okay. Is there anything that really stood out tonight for you guys?
See.
What do you think, Co?
Yeah. I wanted to hear, I heard a lot of rumblings, like on the radio and sports shows and things like that, in regards to Hooker. Have the Lions ever gotten the backup situation right? So I wanted to see tonight, what that would look like. If you're a top 10 quarterback in this league and anything happens, injury, you need your backup to come hold you down for about at least 3 games, right? I don't know if we've seen that today. I'm a little concerned with the backup situation. Both quarterbacks got hurt. Sutfield started. Hooker came in. They both played, a lot of reps. And I just didn't see anything that just blew me away so far. So I'm a little concerned with that. That's going to be an issue. Like I said, if you're not top 10, if you're a top 10 quarterback, you're going to need, if you go down, you're going to need somebody to come in and hold you down for about 3 games. I did not see that today. I'm concerned with that. Hopefully Goff will stay healthy.
Sure.
And we won't have to, have that situation. He's usually healthy. But that was a concern of mine today. Nothing looked good to me as far as, the backup situation.
What do you think, Tom? What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with what Corey's saying. Hooker has some flashes. He shows some things athletically. He's a really good, athlete at the quarterback position. The problem is he's got to protect himself.
Yeah.
This league has changed immensely over the years. The athletes at the linebacker, D-line, and position is at a much different level. You're not going to be able to fly around and be Lamar Jackson and try to do some of those things from what we saw today. He was doing a lot of that. He was doing a lot of running around and using his athleticism, which is great. He's good at that. That's a natural thing for him.
Okay.
But he's got to be able to sit in the pocket and throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to make the defense respect, that he can be a factor as a quarterback and not just an athlete playing quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference. A lot of people need to understand that position is great to have an athlete playing the position, but you need to be a quarterback that's a good athlete. You don't need to be an athlete playing quarterback.
Right.
Does it scare you a little bit that the quarterback, the backup quarterbacks that they have right now with Sudfeld and Hooker, they're so much different than Goff in their style of play?
To Corey's point, I agree with that a lot.
Yeah.
Goff is going to sit in there and he's going to, stabilize the offense. He's going to maintain it and he's going to make good plays down the field. He's going to sit in the pocket and in most cases not make mistakes. The problem is what Corey's speaking and what we're talking about now is if something ever happens, there's not a true backup right now showing for the Detroit Lions.
Right.
They don't have a guy that we can look at from today's game and look at and see that we have confidence in that if something was to happen, they'll be in good hands. Right now, they're not in good hands because they don't have a legitimate backup.
Right.
It's still early, still work to be done, but they got a lot of work to do.
You are listening and watching. Sometimes I got to get that down because they're not listening. They're listening, but they're also watching.
They're also watching.
I'm not used to the watching thing. You are watching the Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV.
Right.
And we'll be here all season long for you, pre- and post-game shows for the Detroit Lions, home and away. We got some exciting things coming up for you guys and gals all season long right here on My Michigan TV.
Yep.
So, is there anybody that kind of stood out today for you in the game? I mean, it was kind of a lackluster game scoring-wise for the Lions. I mean, for me, I think Jake Bates hitting at 53-yard field goal, and I think we might have highlighted
clip
that.
of that?
They might bring that back.
He's the guy, right?
Jared seems to be. I mean, Jared is our guy in the back.
Oh, yeah.
But Jake, he was kind of iffy at scrimmages, so to speak.
Yeah.
But he knocked a 53. That's not easy to do, even in preseason.
Yeah.
No, but that's what he's there to do. That's what they brought him there to do. They felt like he's good enough to get it done. He showed some really special. Showed a real huge special talent. You know, when they picked him up, and they did that because they felt like he can make the kicks.
Yeah.
The thing that people need to understand is that at this point in time, it's important as anything else. It's a kicking game.
Yeah.
You're preparing for the regular season, and that's a huge component of the game of football. Is a kicking game, and the Lions need to stabilize that. They need to make sure that they have a really good kicker because the style of play they play and the way they need to win games and the way everybody wins games in the NFL by one score or less, you got to be able to kick the football. Got to be able to make field goals. So to your point, Scott, yes, that was a highlight of the day. Him being able to make a 53-yarder is a big deal. The question is, can he do it consistently, for the rest of this year? And we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely handled the elements. It was raining there in New York.
It was. Yeah, you know what? I saw the wide receiver room. Isaiah, he made the most of his opportunities. I think Isaiah Williams, I think it is.
Yes.
So I have questions, and you guys can help me out with this. Is it, we know Amon-Ra, and then we have J-Mo, right?
Yes.
So those are so where does Peoples fall into this? Is Peoples is J-Mo better? Is he a better receiver than Peoples? We haven't seen a lot from J-Mo. He's supposed to be the number 2. I think they're looking for the number 3. Isaiah looked good today. He made the most of his opportunities. But what do you guys think as far as that goes? Like, they need a number 3. You need a number 2. Is J-Mo the number 2 or is Peoples the number 2?
Well, J-Mo's the number 2 guy.
Okay.
You don't take a guy that high in the draft
Okay.
and invest that much into a player like they have for
Okay.
him
Okay.
and he not be your guy.
Okay.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Can he produce consistently?
Yeah.
I think the thing that's important to see is he's very explosive. Young man is incredibly fast.
Yeah.
He can create
Extremely fast, yeah.
extremely fast. He can
got
create
burners,
a lot
yeah.
of problems for you down the field and stretching that offense for you.
Okay.
Jared Goff has never been one to be known to be able to throw a great deep ball,
Right.
but he does have someone who can actually go get it.
Yeah.
He can get it out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I just think that, to your point, Corey, they'd have to have a guy, a 3 or even a 4,
Okay.
to help out that group
Yeah.
in that wide receiver room because you're going to need depth. It's a long season.
Yeah.
It's 17 games.
Yeah. So let's stay with that. So let me ask you this, Blank, real quick.
Sure.
It's a 53-man roster, correct?
Yes.
How many positions for each wide receiver? How many for the quarterback? How many for the safety? How many guys?
How many do they hold on,
yeah,
on
how
that
many,
roster?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think normally they keep 4 to 5 receivers.
Okay.
Quarterbacks is normally 3
All right.
because they have to have backups, of course. You got to have special teams guys
Okay.
to go with the roster. If you do the math, 11, and then times 2.
Okay.
Right? That's
All right.
44.
Gotcha.
And then you got 9 more guys.
Yeah.
So you got your 1s, you got your 2s, and then you got to have some special teams guys to go in with that group. Of course, kickoff return, punt return. Some starters even are special teams guys.
Okay. So
That happens.
The reason why I say that because I don't know it like that. So what I'm
Yeah.
asking is can a team, can Campbell, can he keep 2? Can he say, well, I'm going to go with 3 wideouts or 4 wideouts
No.
and keep 2 and add an extra defensive back, or is it's got to be?
You're going to keep what you need according to what the
Okay.
need is.
Gotcha.
They like to start the year off. Obviously, you're going to always have a 2-man depth chart.
Sure.
And even going into 3 if you can.
Okay.
But if you look at the numbers don't allow you to have 3 just because
Okay.
you're only going to have 44 guys,
Right.
per roster, 1s and 2s. But it gives you a little bit of a leeway with the extra 9 guys.
Okay.
And you have to decide as a staff, general manager,
Yeah.
head coach,
Yeah.
how they want to balance that out when it comes to those 9 guys and who they want to keep on throughout the season. That's why you see guys are sometimes put on the practice squad. Guys from practice squad are brought up,
Okay.
depending upon injury, depending upon the need. So we'll
Okay.
have to see how that plays out. Depth, though, is, again, I cannot speak enough on how important it is that you have as much as you can muster during the season, but it has to be a legitimate group. It can't just be bodies.
Gotcha.
They got to be good players.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Lions have gotten this far because they've had some good players backing up their starters
To step in.
and do some things. When they weren't good over the years, that was their biggest problem.
Okay.
Whenever they would have an injury to one of their better players, they didn't have anybody who can back them up that was any good.
Gotcha.
They have a lot more of that now.
A little bit of leeway. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of leeway now. But that's it's still a concern. It's a great point that we're bringing up during this conversation now because
Yeah.
it's something to watch for the rest of this football season.
It is. I agree.
You are watching the Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV. And if you look at the screen, you can get in on the conversation, the Roar Live right here. Join us via Zoom. We want to hear from you. I definitely want to hear from
Yeah,
the
in the
fans.
first
That'd be
preseason
great.
game. Yeah,
Whatever questions you might have, we have a Hall of Fame high school head coach here that can run any questions you might have down and what the Lions might be thinking.
Yeah.
Tony, preseason, as a head coach, what are you really looking for preseason wise from your team?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, depth and what Corey brought up earlier, you're looking for depth. That's something is you can never have enough guys to back up your best players. Okay. There's a reason the starters aren't playing. Right. There's a reason that a lot of the twos don't play because they're trying to make sure those guys are healthy.
Yeah.
But what you have to do is you got to find some guys who can back up your ones and twos.
Yeah.
You got to find some guys who are going to be efficient NFL football players just in case injuries happen, because injuries are going to happen.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. So that's what I'm doing as a coach. In that situation, I'm always making sure I'm doing the best I can to find the best group of guys that I can sign that's going to help us throughout this long season.
Yeah.
And the quarterback position, what we just brought up, the receiver position in that room is very, very important.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got arguably the best offensive line in the league.
I think it's ranked number 2. I think
1 or 2.
A lot of people have them ranked 2.
Yep.
Fantasy footballs, pro football. I think they're like 2.
So
I think Eagles is 1.
For me, that's the meat and potatoes of it all. I do understand that obviously you got to have a backup quarterback. That's obviously one of the things that's more important than anything that you can do, because if something happens to Jared Goff, you may have a serious problem on your hands.
Very serious problem.
Very serious problem. And then for me, then it's the offensive defensive line. I got to have guys that can come in, because those are very critical positions where guys can get hurt, and a lot of times they do because they're in the trenches.
Yeah.
You get legs rolled up. You get all type of things going.
Yeah.
You get all type of pectoral injuries and all things you can never think of, but it happens.
Yeah.
And because of that, you got to make sure you got some guys who can back them up. That's why I watched the game today, and I watched the interior line, and I watched both sides and was trying to see if they had guys who were going to be efficient when it comes to blocking. And when it comes to being effective in being offensive linemen, can they move, the guys in front? Can they move the line of scrimmage? And then even on defense, can they get some guys that can fly around and back up some guys if you have injuries? So that's what I'm looking for.
So, to keep with the preseason. So do you guys, I'm going to throw this out there. Do you guys think, they might add an 18-game season?
Yeah, they will. That's coming.
So is it enough? Do you need the live action? Or is it enough to do like teams do, like they were doing with the Giants earlier? You scrimmage like that. Can you wipe out the preseason blank and have guys just go at it? The teams are coming in like that, and you get your reps.
Yep.
Can everybody do that? Can even the players that are trying to live the dream and make the team, can they get all of that from that, as far as just scrimmaging the Giants? Like they did before, not a full preseason, but just a practice.
Yeah, well,
can you erase preseason and get to that and get to that model?
You can, and it's getting to that point though. There's no secret. It used to be 16 games and 4 exhibition games. Now it's 17 games and 3 exhibition games. It's going to be 18 games and 2 exhibition games. You can see the model, and you can see what they're doing right now.
Yes,
they're preparing for what you're talking about, Corey.
Okay.
They are positioning themselves not to have as many exhibition games. They've been doing inter-squad scrimmaging forever.
Yeah.
That's not new.
Right.
Obviously, social media and everything is televised now, so it's a big deal to watch them brawl.
Okay.
But they've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
And that's effective practice. That's the best kind of practice you can get.
Okay.
Is to be able to go against an opponent. You get tired of seeing each other every day. The best way to be able to get the best out of your players is put somebody in front of them with a different jersey and a different helmet. That puts on a completely different mindset for the players.
Okay.
And it's efficient. I don't even think the exhibition games are efficient, because you spend a lot of time just doing things, as you mentioned earlier, Scott.
You mean like the full preseason?
The full preseason.
Yeah.
Like Scott, he brought up earlier, that you're not even doing the things you're going to do. You're watering down your offense and watering down your defense, because you don't want people to kind of know what you're going to do and what your tendencies are and what your strengths are, even though teams have an idea of your personnel, because you're only as good as your personnel.
Yeah.
So they know what your best players are. Everybody in the country know what the Lions' best players are.
Right.
The thing is how can you be efficient in building around those guys at this point? And I think that's what the exhibition season is doing. They're trying to get some guys in a position where they can be able to move in and help them if they ever have to be able to play a significant amount of minutes. But at the same time, I saw personnel-wise today, I saw a lot of 12 personnel.
Okay.
I saw a lot of 11 personnel. And for people who don't know what that is, that's one back, one tight end. That's 11 personnel.
Okay.
12 personnel is one back, two tight ends, and two wideouts.
Gotcha.
So I saw a lot of that. I saw some 21 personnel, two backs, one tight end, with a lot of what we call unbalanced line.
Okay.
Two tight ends to one side, having a weak side and a complete strong side. And they were just doing basic stuff. They were running off tackle weak. They were running some naked boots.
Okay.
They were running some what they call a waggle with the fullback getting the flat.
Okay.
Just basic stuff, simple stuff.
Simple stuff.
Almost, high school style offenses.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you know what? To go back a little bit back to Hooker, and to what you're saying, I think I don't know Dan Campbell. I haven't sat down and talked with him. I don't know Ben Johnson. The Lions are a system.
Yes.
Golf fits the system.
Yep. Perfect.
I don't think Hooker fits this system. Just he's not, the system that they kind of. He's a kind of tuck it down and go type guy, and I don't know if that'll work out with the Lions, because he's improv. He's golf is you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the dink down, the he's gonna protect the ball, and he's gonna and he's gonna stay in the pocket, and he's not taking off.
No.
I think the Lions, and you guys can chime in here. I just think that they have a system that makes him that, and I don't know if Hooker actually fits that.
Looking at it today, I'm completely convinced. During our production meeting before we came on today, we talked in length about how Hooker he's a really good athlete.
Yes.
Doesn't have a lot of game experience.
The kid's talented.
He is. He's talented.
He has talent.
Yeah.
And he maybe not be here, maybe not work here.
Exactly.
Well, it's his first preseason.
Yeah, he hadn't played in 2 years, I believe.
Yes, but with that being said, like what I heard earlier, like the practices, and he just wasn't picking it up.
Yeah.
That's what I heard, rumblings through the camp. And again, it's early.
It is.
So we'll see. He got injured today.
Yeah.
So we'll
he did.
see. But I like his talent. I like his athleticism. But I just don't know if, they made it to the NFC Championship. I don't know if, that backup it's important, man. And they have to stay within that system.
Yeah, they got to get a veteran. I'm just going to tell you my opinion.
Okay.
Hooker has to be the third quarterback.
Okay.
Out of that room.
All right.
And they're going to have to bring somebody else in. From what I saw today, it doesn't take long, for you to see. Anytime a guy is tucking and running that consistently, as you mentioned, Corey, he's not picking it up that easily.
Right.
The game has not slowed down.
That makes sense.
And it hasn't slowed down for him yet, and it's not going to slow down for him yet, because he's, inevitably he's still a rookie. Mm-hmm. He's a young guy, in the NFL system still.
Yeah.
Very talented, but it takes more than that. Look, we look at the guys who won the MVPs in this league, and they still struggle throwing the ball down the field.
Right.
Lamar Jackson is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
He's amazing, but he is not good at throwing the ball down the field in crucial situations. He struggles.
This is true.
So imagine this kid or this young man, Hooker, who's having a hard time now.
Yeah.
And he's going to continue to have a hard time.
And he was an SEC player.
Yeah, player of the year.
Yeah.
2022, I believe.
Yeah.
He's a tough kid. We saw him. We saw him run over a DB today.
Yeah.
He trucked a DB. He's a tough dude, good sized dude, good sized player.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy. Yeah. He's going to have to learn. He's going to have to learn the game and how the speed of the game is, and how to pick up and understand the reads down the field as a quarterback, to get the ball out quicker, to find his checks and make his checks much quicker than what he was able to do today. Again, we're going to keep making this excuse that it's early. We know it's early.
We know it's early, yeah.
But
it's early for everybody.
We need to be able to see what's going to happen next week, and
sure.
then the week after, to be able to see the progression and see if he's grown, and if he's growing, and hear how things have gone in practice as well.
Okay. Yeah.
You are watching The Roar live right here on My Michigan TV.
Yeah.
I have Mr. Tony Blankenship to my left and Corey Tiez to my right. We're going to go to some highlights. One of the big highlights for me, because that was kind of a position that kind of been a little wonky. Badgley went out. The kicker went out for the year.
Yeah.
What but Jake Bates,
hamstring.
Okay.
Jake Bates kicked a 53-yarder tonight.
Tell him who Bates is. Tell him where he's
Jake
from.
Bates as you can see right there on your screen, kicked a 53-yarder tonight. He is from the UFL Michigan Panthers.
Okay.
He's kicked it, I think his longest this year for the Panthers was like 63 yards.
Okay.
That's not an easy place to kick field goals.
And it was wet. And it was wet, too.
And it
Yes.
was wet. So, I mean, that's got to give you some confidence if you're the Detroit Lions, Jake Bates being able to hit a 53-yarder.
I agree. He's got a job to do. It's his job. So
Well,
he's got to go and he got to make it happen.
And this ain't the USFL.
USFL? UFL?
It's
Yeah.
not.
Well, you know
So
what, though? I mean, would you say that is true, but you got a better line to block you, too.
For sure.
You know, so that could only enhance him, his accuracy or his confidence in hitting
Sure.
those kicks.
The reason why I said it is because the fans,
Yep.
Right.
the stadiums are different.
Right.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be pressure.
Sure.
You know, it's pressure, you know, in that 53-yarder when everybody's yelling and screaming, you know, if you're away and things like that. So we have to see if good start so far, you know, but we have to see if he can withstand that. It's mental. You know, it's a mental thing, too. He's not going to hear what he heard,
No.
you know, before,
And-
you know,
and
in those
he-
domes, in those stadiums. In
He's
those,
in a thriving,
yeah,
expectation-based
Absolutely.
organization.
yeah.
People are expecting the Detroit Lions to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
This is no UFL.
Yeah, this is it.
By no means, to Corey's point.
Yeah, this is it.
And you're right. That's a great thing.
Would you say though that he might have a leg up? I know he's basically a rookie.
Yes, he is.
Even if you would have drafted a rookie kicker out of college, he'd probably be in the same boat to
No.
some extent. But he's got more experience.
Well-
with a minor league kind of football league.
That's to Corey's point. The fact that you playing against 100, you playing with 100,000 people,
Okay.
screaming and going nuts.
Yeah.
While as you're preparing to
Yeah.
kick a game-winning field goal in college,
Yep.
it's not the same as 15,000 in a game. You know, in the UFL, it's a difference. And if you're a college guy and you've had a chance to do that for 3-4 years,
Sure.
you're prepared a little differently than he's prepared. I give him a lot of credit for kicking a 53-yarder.
Sure.
That means the ball's on the 36-yard line
Yeah.
for people who don't know.
Right.
And it's 17 yards from that point. And that makes it 53 yards. That's not easy.
In the Meadowlands, wet.
In
Dude, yeah.
the Meadowlands,
It's wet.
in New York,
Yep.
it's windy,
Yep.
it's wet. That's a solid job by him to be able to do that. But he's got to do it all year long.
All year long.
Against a lot of good football teams, against a lot of screaming
Yep.
fans, and the pressure
gonna be berserk,
is going to
man.
be unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is going to be, and again, I can't say enough that he's kicking for a team that went to the NFC Championship game and was 30 minutes away
Yeah.
from getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was the North Division champs.
Yeah.
He's not just on an up and coming
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah.
It's expected
It's expected.
of him to make plays,
The
to make kicks.
expectation.
He's
Thank you.
expected
He is.
to do his job at a very high level. I hope he can do it. He's shown us in the past that
Yeah.
he's been able to do it.
He's got the leg.
And he's got a strong leg.
got the leg.
He's got to be able to deal, like Corey spoke of, and to your question, Scott, he's got to be able to do it under pressure.
He's got the leg.
He's got to be able to show you he can do it.
How consistent can you be
Right.
with the leg? You can have the leg. Are you accurate?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yep.
So we'll see. But like you said, guys, it's early.
It's early.
You know,
Definitely
it's
it's
very early. But again, my concern is that backup situation. And the Lions are pros. You know, they're pros. The coaches are pros. You know, I might rag on them a little bit, but they're pros. They know what they're doing.
Are you surprised he's saying this about,
Well, I mean-
about the Detroit Lions?
Look, he's not. That's the truth. They are pros.
They're pros.
They're pros. They're NFL.
But they're
professional
the
NFL football
positive.
players.
Yeah.
The positive that he's been.
Well, yeah. Like everybody's got a fresh start.
Sure.
Right now, the expectation is on them.
Right.
The heat is on. So Campbell's going to go back to the drawing. They're going to work hard. They're going to look at these players and evaluate them and see, hey, Campbell's all about the next man up. Who can make the play? Who can protect the football? Who can run the right routes? Who can make the tackles? You know, they're all about that. So they're going to dig into it. I think the Lions will be right where they need to be, but they have to address, and they've never really addressed. That's one thing they've never really addressed is the backup situation. So I don't know if it's a free agent thing out there. I don't know how it works. If somebody can grab somebody off the scrap heap,
I'm telling you,
come and help them out. Some veteran in there.
They have to get a vet.
They have to get a veteran. That's the next thing. Yeah.
From what I saw today, and guys, the turnover just doesn't change that fast. Hooker he got an opportunity to get better, but for the realization of it is in a 3-week, 4-week period, it's not going to be. If something was to happen, he's not the guy that I can see right now.
Exactly.
He's not that kind of an NFL player right now.
Right.
They're gonna have to. And I guarantee you, they watch this film.
Yeah.
They'll go in there tomorrow, and they'll start making some decisions. We're not the only ones discussing this.
Right.
Speaking of turnovers, the defensive play of the game was by safety Brandon Joseph. He was a undrafted.
That was first quarter too.
Yeah, first quarter out of Northwestern. He also played for Notre Dame.
Okay. Joseph. Yes.
How did you feel he played tonight, Tony?
That was a good play.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard for him.
What are you looking for as a safety? You're basically looking for a ball hawk, right?
When you're looking for a guy that can read the quarterback's eyes and be instinctive. And you're a safety back there, so you're like a center fielder, and you got to be able to pay attention to everything that's going on. And you got to have the instinct, though, of watching that quarterback and watching his tendencies and what he's trying to do. And you got to be able to break on the football and make a play. That wasn't a hard play for him.
Yeah.
He was in the right spot.
Right spot. The quarterback threw it right to him. I don't know who was the first quarterback. I know DeVito.
I think it was DeVito.
DeVito threw it to him?
Yeah, I think it was
maybe.
DeVito.
I don't know.
He was a starter last year when Jones went down.
Right, when he went down. But the first guy wasn't DeVito that started. I don't think.
No.
It was some other guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But
it wasn't a hard play for him to make.
Yeah, it was an easy. But you're supposed to make that.
Drew Lock, I'm sorry.
Lock.
Drew Lock was the one that did that.
And Lock got hurt too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as a safety, you have to be. You're the last line of defense. You're the guy back there that cannot give up big plays. You got to keep everything inside and in front of you, and you got to make sure that no big plays are made behind you.
Yeah.
So he did his job. Mm-hmm. He was where he was supposed to be, and he made a good play, and good for that young man. Happy for him. Get an interception.
Yep. First quarter.
Yep. You hope that he can continue to help them. He's a free agent. He's a guy that's trying to find a roster spot. So that's all you want to do is produce, and he did that today. He made a good play, and hopefully he'll make a lot more.
Yeah.
You are watching The Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV. I am Scotty William, Tony Blankenship, Corey Tiez with you tonight on the Lions post-game show. Listen, I seen a poll about quarterbacks, the top quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Goff did not make the top 10. Is that surprising to you?
Not for me. It's not a surprise. I'm not going to call him a game manager.
Okay.
Because he took a team to a Super Bowl before he even got to the Lions. Yeah. He's a solid quarterback in the NFL. The thing is, he's not asked to do what a lot of those guys are asked to do when it comes to spinning that football around the field like that.
That's that system.
Yeah, he's a system guy like Corey spoke of earlier. Yeah. They're going to run the football. Yeah. They're going to play the game a certain way, physical, play action, a lot of things where, it's basic. They're not going to position and put him in positions where he can hurt them. So, and he doesn't. He's smart enough to where he doesn't throw a lot of picks, a lot of interceptions. He makes basic throws. And he can make those throws. He can make the good, solid throws that need to be made. He's not athletic.
No.
And he's not going to run and use his feet to hurt you.
No.
And I guarantee you that all those 10 quarterbacks or whatever that were before him, chances are they're athletes. Yeah. They're really good quarterbacks, and they're really good athletes too. So like I spoke of earlier, you don't need to be an athlete playing a quarterback position. You need to be a quarterback that's a good athlete.
There you go.
He's not that. He's a solid quarterback, and he's a solid veteran quarterback. He's savvy. He's done this a very long time, and he's good at it. And as you guys both mentioned, he's in a system that works perfectly for him.
Well, let me ask you something.
Because wasn't Holmes over with him with the Rams?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, as a GM,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a golf guy, but he's.
Well, let me ask you something. One quarterback that stood out that I wouldn't put over Jared Goff just because of what Jared Goff has accomplished. Dak Prescott.
Well,
and we're talking.
Dak Prescott's been an MVP of the league.
Close to, yeah.
He
He was second last
year.
year.
Better quarterback.
Yes.
Well, we already know what you're going to say.
Well, the reason why I'm going to say it because Dak can improv.
Okay.
Dak can do a little bit, not a lot of bit, what great quarterbacks do, but he can do a little bit more than what Goff does. But those are different lists. Like a lot of people have him in the top 10. So there's a couple that do.
Actually, that list they had Goff at 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's right around.
outside. Yep.
Would you put Brock Purdy above Goff just because of him doing what he's done in such a short time?
He's in a great system and he does it very, very well.
Yeah.
He's no different than Goff in that they're in great systems that work for them.
Just shorter.
They're going to run the football. Mm-hmm. They're going to make safe calls. Yeah. They're going to do a lot of play action like Corey mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to throw the ball, excessively down the field, recklessly at all.
Yeah.
They do things, in a simple way, an effective, efficient way. They have efficient offenses. Yeah. I've always believed in that style of football. Anybody that knows me and know my style as a coach, I believe in running the football. I believe in playing good defense. I believe in throwing on first down sometime when you can catch teams off guard. In Detroit, the Lions do that often. They like to throw the ball on first down.
Yep. They
like to get you off balance, and they want to run the ball down your throat, and they want to be in second and short situations consistently.
Yeah.
And he's good.
Yes, he is.
Goff is good
Yes, he is.
when they're in second and short situations.
He's very good.
As well as Brock Purdy.
Yep.
And you see the similarities, and you see the reason why they played in the NFC Championship game last year. Because they're very similar as quarterbacks. The difference is, and you saw why the Lions lost. Part of the reason, Brock Purdy can use his legs.
Improv. Yeah.
He can improv. He can make a play where there's no play.
Yeah. And Goff doesn't.
No.
Because I don't want to hear about, under pressure, he panicked. Every quarterback panics under pressure. Nobody wants to get hit. Nobody wants to get killed back there. But he's just a system guy. That's why they 10 him and 11 and 12 him. He doesn't do anything extra. He does what he has to do within that system. Now, to me, the Lions, we know what the offense is. Everybody knows. My thing is, can the defense maintain this year? Can they maintain? Can they keep up with the offense? That's the key to me. I think, can they keep up with the linebacker situation?
Yeah.
Not really sure about it. The corners are new. They like the young kids. Not really sure. On paper, these are, good corners and physical and can cover you. I'm concerned with the linebacker, and I'm concerned still with them getting to the quarterback. The offense are going to put up points. Didn't they put up the most or something like that? Or was it? I think,
number 2.
I think Tua threw for the most yards and Dak threw for the most touchdowns. The Lions had the offense.
Yep.
They have the offense. It's there. I still think they need a bigger receiver than their number 1 receiver. He's good, though. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yep, St. Brown.
He's good. But can the defense maintain? What do you guys think about that? Can these linebackers, I know you like one of the linebackers.
Campbell, Anzalone.
Anzalone. Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see the linebacking core just, holding their own. I just don't. Not to me. That's going to be the issue. Campbell has got him buying into what he wants to do. He's going to coach the same way, nothing different. Can the defense maintain is the key to me. If the defense can play 25% better, 30% better than what they did last year, you might win the North again.
Yeah, you got to look at where they were. They were literally in a situation where you saw the defense give up a lot of big plays.
Yeah.
I think they were ranked 26th
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
And you're not going to win a Super Bowl. As
No.
much as Lions fans,
You're not.
you have a great team.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that low as a defense,
Yeah.
you don't win Super Bowls.
It's gonna
like
be
that.
hard to win.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be hard. It's gonna catch up with you.
That's my issue with him.
And now, like you spoke of the 25%, they got to get in the mid-range ranking of a total defense this
Somewhere
year.
15.
15,
somewhere-
12.
Yeah.
You're talking about 32 teams.
Yeah.
You can't be 26th.
No.
And
win a
I
Super
could
Bowl.
be off somewhere in there,
Yeah.
but I know they were not where they should be.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a championship Super Bowl caliber team.
I agree.
You got to be able to play the game a certain way.
Yeah.
teams, if you look at all Super Bowl teams over the years, you look at the recipe of winning Super Bowls.
Yes.
It's not complicated.
No, it's not. It's not really.
It's not. It's quarterback.
Everybody wants to make it. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated.
It's not.
You got to have a good quarterback. You got to have a solid defense, and you got to be able to play great special teams.
Yep.
And when you do that, and you got a great coach on your sideline, you win Super Bowls.
You win Super Bowls.
I don't know a team that's won a Super Bowl didn't have those things, the elements that we just spoke of.
I can't name one.
So
I can't name one. I can't name one. I have a question for you, Scotty.
Sure.
How do you like the new kick rule, the kickoff rule?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Well, I'll tell you, I feel like the kickoffs have been kind of lackluster over the past few years.
Do you think there's will be more?
Yeah, I mean,
exciting, more-
I think you're going to see. I think you're going to definitely see special teams be more important.
For
You know,
sure.
you're going to. I miss the days of the Mel Grays.
Yeah.
You know, those Devin Hester,
He
who
went to the
just
Hall of
got
Fame.
into the Hall of
Shout out
Fame.
to Hester.
Amazing.
You know, you don't
Hall of Fame.
see those 1,000-yard kick returners anymore like you used to.
No, you don't. No,
No.
you don't. Because everything is out of the end zone, and there's not many returns.
Right.
But the new rule, I think, is good because you can't move until the person touches the ball.
Yep.
They're closer.
Yep.
You know, people, like you said, we talked earlier, Blank, about in our production piece, about the collisions,
Yes.
you know, coming down like that. So I think I like it.
Yep.
I like it. What do you think about it?
I
man?
do. I like it. I like it because it's definitely going to minimize the concussion issues, the full speed collisions from, that kind of space from one person to another.
Yes.
If people look at the old kickoffs, that's a long way to be going full speed at somebody.
It is.
And again, a lot of people would like to still keep it the way it used to be.
Yeah.
The game has to change
It has
because
to
the
change.
athletes have changed.
Right. Sure.
They're bigger, they are stronger, they are faster, they are more explosive. So as much as you can still continue to do all you can do in creating better helmets and creating better safety for the players,
Sure.
there's no better way than changing the rules and creating a situation where guys won't have to be in that situation.
Right.
Now, to you guys' point, you better have some good players on your kickoff team this year.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that if that kickoff return team is doing a solid job blocking, and that guy has an opportunity now to catch that ball and make a move or two or make a guy miss or two, you guys got to do their jobs. I like it for that reason alone.
Sure.
You're making coaches even coach that much more. So special teams coaches really got to be on it, and they got to make sure they're creative in doing their jobs and on both sides to give their teams better opportunities. We saw a play today where the Lions didn't kick the ball into the zone where you have to kick it past the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
In the air, though.
In the air.
It can't hit the ground.
It's got to go in the air.
Before it gets to the 20-yard line. That's the new rule.
Yeah.
If you do that, they get the ball on the 40.
Yeah.
That means the team is starting. You get 2 first downs, you kick a field goal.
You're kicking a field goal, absolutely.
So you got to have guys who can make sure they're doing their jobs and kicking the football, and then you got to have guys who are good tacklers in open space. And I can tell you guys, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, over the weeks.
Sure.
You will not see very good tackling the first 3-4 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
It's never. It's just a tough thing. Guys don't get really good at it because they are not allowed to do it enough in practice anymore.
Right.
Practices are not the same. You
Right.
don't get to have full contact tackling practices. Everything is quick whistle. Everything is thud, what we call thud.
Okay.
You bump and whistle blows. So guys don't really get used to tackling at a high level until they're able to tackle at a high level. You're only good at something when you're doing it.
Okay.
You're only able to be good at something because you're perfecting it.
Right.
These guys don't get a chance to tackle. You're going to watch the league, and I've seen this for years. And when you had the 4 exhibition games and guys were actually playing, then it was different. Guys were actually getting some time to practice and tackle.
Yeah.
Now, with there only being 3 exhibition games, the starters may not play but 1 and a half in that.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, does you see starters in game 3?
Exactly.
Do we see him in game 3?
It depends on the coach. And depends on what that head coach system is and what that head coach's mindset is.
Yeah.
A lot of times they do it in 2 and they rest it on 3.
Gotcha.
Well, what does that do for your starters? Does it take them a few weeks into the season to get warmed up with them not being able to go full tilt, so to speak?
It definitely affects the defense more than it affects the offense. I promise you guys. it has an impact. Now, the good football teams who have the really elite football players who are really good tacklers, those are the ones that you'll see the difference.
Yeah.
They jump out and they play well. The ones that got some young guys who are growing and getting better and still haven't adapted to the game, maybe they second or third year, and it takes guys a little bit of time. Look, I don't care what you're doing in life. You got to be doing it to be good. You got to be tackling physically. And the only way you do it, and the only time they get a chance to do it is during the games.
Yeah.
That's just the realism of it. So they need you'll see the improvement by third, fourth week. That's when you see guys tackling way, way better than they do in week one. And we'll keep an eye on that, and that's a topic we could discuss.
Absolutely.
You are watching The Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV. Hey, if you would like to call in on the show, the Zoom, via Zoom right here, that is the Zoom that you need to link that you need to call into. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
We're hearing a lot of people here on the comments. David, Danita, Dory, everybody liking the show so far. Christine, Eric.
Shout out, folks. Thank you.
Shout out,
Yes,
Terrence.
much love.
We see you. Khalid, Dawson. So we appreciate you watching on this late night right after the Detroit Lions.
They must be real Lion fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Must be true. Good Lion fans.
That's some of my friends, I think, too.
Okay, good.
But yeah, and like I said, we want to hear from you. If you got a question, if you got a comment, no comment is off kilter. Corey can handle.
Say what you got to say.
abuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I do want to mention that
Sure.
the sticker, the Lions they have the WCF sticker, the William Clay Ford sticker. They're going to represent. I don't know where it's going to be, but they're going to wear that for their owner, William Clay Ford, which is great. I thought that was really cool. I don't know if it's going to be on the back of the helmet.
Probably so.
Back of the helmet, probably.
Or jersey, possibly on the
so that's
jersey.
cool. And they got some new uniforms coming out and travel. I think the away uniforms they got going out. So they are like stepping it up until they're trying to get into that class.
Right.
So they have a chance. Again, it's early, first preseason game, but just going off what happened last year, the NFC is wide open, I believe. So the Lions are a few pieces away. I think it's hard to return to that game, but they're a few pieces away. But they got to get that backup situation down, because if Goff goes down, and that's just like anybody, Mahomes, Dak, Hurts, Tua, if any of those guys go down, it's in the toilet. So they got to get that right, because he's got to come in and hold you down for about 2 or 3 games at least until Goff can get back. But Goff is not going to get hurt. We're not saying Goff's going to get hurt. We don't want – he stays pretty healthy for the most part.
He does.
Goff is out there playing. He's going to –
great offensive line. He's
he
well
does.
protected.
So, yeah. But that's it. They
And
have
the system,
a chance.
the system allows it, too. It's handing the ball off more than doing anything else.
Exactly. And then you got the 1-2 punch. You guys like them. You like Gibbs.
I do.
You like
I do.
I like Montgomery, right?
I like both.
Yeah.
I like both.
Okay.
You think Jameer will have a shot at 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing?
I don't know if he can get that much productivity, because they do use both backs.
They switch off,
and
yeah.
they switch them off.
Yeah.
He would have to be a guy that's doing it consistently. They definitely got to keep the ball in his hands a lot more. He's special.
Yeah.
That young man has a very special talent.
Yeah.
And the Lions.
He's got good feet.
He's got great feet. He's got really good vision. And then again, he's got something that you cannot you can't pay for, and that's just he's got world-class speed.
Yeah.
And there's no substitute for speed.
Nothing. I would like to see him. I think he can run between the tackles. I do. I know they like to feature him, kind of outside with tosses and kind of things, stuff like that. But I think the kid can go through the holes, hit the holes, and go for it.
Well, they're going to have to,
yeah,
Corey.
Yeah.
Because the one thing we all have to understand is they're hunted now.
Yep.
And you better believe all the film that's been watched from last year has been watched all throughout the offseason. The one thing about the NFL and the coaches that you got to give the NFL credit for, they always improve the next year in preparation for the team that's been elite.
Yeah.
Whenever those teams have been elite, they prepare for them very well.
Okay, so Blank. So at this point,
Sure.
Ben Johnson, everybody loves him.
Yes.
How many more wrinkles? Is it more wrinkles, or is it play calling? Because now you
It's both.
The bag of tricks is so
both.
you're trying to outmaneuver.
Yeah.
Because we pretty much know, like we know the system, but how many more wrinkles can Ben add, or is he just saying I'm gonna get this defensive coordinator with this at this right time? Is it that now?
That's it. That's a great point. That's got to happen.
Okay.
Because again, the tendencies are there. The one thing coaches know is they know what you can do with who you have.
Mm-hmm.
They look at your personnel, and you only can do certain things with the players that you have.
Right.
All right. They have certain qualities that everybody's watched now for all offseason,
Mm-hmm.
and coaches get together and prepare for teams. Other coaches, they go and meet and they talk during the offseason. Hey, man, what we got to do to stop the Lions? What we got to do to be able to deal with Gibbs? What the Lions are going to have to do is they're going to have to put him out of the backfield more, and they got to put him in the slot. He may be your fourth receiver.
Could be.
He may be your third guy.
Could be.
Because he's talented enough to do that, and his speed allows it to be so.
Okay.
And they're going to have to be in the situations where there are a lot of empty sets, where there's no backs back there, where he'll have to go against a linebacker one-on-one, and they got to throw the football to him a lot more.
Okay.
As you spoke of the receivers, the yardage. The thing is, though, to go back to your point, Corey, they got to be able to show a lot of different things and not be predictable.
Okay.
Because teams are prepared for them as we speak. They
yeah.
know their tendencies.
Okay.
They know if they're going to run left 25 times. They know if they're going to run right 22 times. They know if they're going to run in the A and B gap in the middle 20 times.
Yep.
Okay, so that's something that they have to be able to look at and teams have to prepare for.
Okay. So you're thinking of a Thurman Thomas type deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen, you have been watching The Roar Live right here on My Michigan TV. We'll be back next week for the preseason game number 2. And, of course, I am Scotty William, Tony Blankenship, and Corey Tiez. You can catch us on the Co-In Bro Opinion Show on your favorite podcasting platform for more stuff. We can't wait to hear from you all season long, guys. It's going to be beautiful, ain't it?
It is. It's going to be a nice thing.
It's going to be great.
I love talking Lions.
Seeing everybody and come out and talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come out and
definitely.
talk to us. Love talking Lions. Go Lions.
We'll see you next time right here on The Roar Live.